Hello everybody, my name's Robin Harrison, a Global Content Director at Clarion Gaming Digital, and I'm joined today by Ivan Folletti of Gaming Malta. Now, we're at the start of a new year, and we're going to have a conversation today about Gaming Malta's mission, its role in promoting Malta's gaming ecosystem, and also really looking ahead with reference to its new manifesto and how that sets out a blueprint for the future of gaming in Malta. So, Ivan, it's great to speak to you today.
It's a pleasure being here. We'll always look forward to explaining what's happening with our ecosystem.
Fantastic. 2025 was a bit of a milestone year for Gaming Malta. It celebrated its 10th anniversary. To start off, I'm interested to find out from your perspective about how its mission has changed over the past decade. Do you feel its kind of role in attracting business to Malta has become increasingly crucial over this period?
Look, Rob, I think we should take it back to 2004, right, when Malta first joined the European Union. And we were the first jurisdiction, essentially, European jurisdiction, to regulate the iGaming industry. Since then, Malta has become, I would say, the Silicon Valley, no ifs and no buts, of the iGaming industry globally. We've got more than 250 gaming operators on the island. It accounts for just under 7% of our gross value added as a as an economic pillar, basically, of the local economy. And also, employing close to 14,000 employees, which aren't small numbers for an island like Malta. Essentially, the country has embraced embraced the sector, which is, I would say, very unique. When you compare to other jurisdictions.
Yeah, of course.
Also. And iGaming, as such, transformed our economy essentially. So we started having more kind of modern approaches to human resources, modern approaches to employer branding, the skills which are required, technical capabilities, technical infrastructure. We started having Google-like offices, prior to COVID. So it really has been a sum of all the parts. It hasn't been one silver bullet, but it's been a sum of all the parts. And also, cross-political support also from both areas of the political spectrum in ensuring, that the industry is well served, is well taken care of, and essentially, becoming, a real part of our economic story, I would say. So, that's where we started from. That's where we are right now. So as a government, we've also launched the Vision 2050 for the island. Gaming forms a very, very important part of that, where we're saying, look, let's consolidate the iGaming sector and let's accelerate interactive entertainment. So with video game development, immersive tech, and esports. Why? Because, Rob, it's all this convergence of technology coming together. Right, and it's all these sectors talking to each other. Ultimately, what are we in as a sector? We are in the entertainment industry, and we want to entertain. I want to entertain responsibly, and we want to entertain well. And we'll have to ensure that everything is done in the most right way possible, and using a plethora of support, different services, etc. So I would say, looking ahead, we're very excited about the only constant in life is change. I know it sounds like a cliche, but the minute we start being comfortable, I think, is the minute when we can't innovate. And what we want to do is for the industries to be on this continuous, relentless, and I really mean this, relentless approach in adapting, in configuring new solutions, in finding new ways of working, of how to interact with the sector and how to communicate also. So in a nutshell, that's where we are at the moment.
Wow. I mean, it's really interesting to hear of gaming being talked up as a central pillar, to the economy, because it's not something that I think we hear from a lot of other jurisdictions. And it's fascinating what you're saying there about how so many other industries can kind of like evolve and emerge out of that gaming infrastructure. That really feels, like as you say, we are in the entertainment industry ultimately, but it's really interesting to hear kind of like a roadmap to that wider ecosystem emerging from gaming. So I think that's something that I definitely want to kind of touch on really with the next question, because I was going to ask about whether there's a sort of change in the sort of companies you're looking to attract, and I think partially you've answered that, in that there is this wider ecosystem to be brought in. But I mean, does that really essentially sort of reposition Malta as less a hub for gaming operators and suppliers and more of a technology hub?
Yes, I wouldn't say it's repositioning, because we've been always there, right? Just to give you one concrete example, for example, just a couple of weeks ago, I chaired, together with the Minister of the Economy, the iGaming Council, where we bring, some of the key operators, some of the new operators who are investing on the island, etc. And around the table, we discuss the challenges of the industry way forward, which investments are being done, and all that. And I think that's pretty unique in itself, right? It's pretty unique in itself, where Gaming Malta is serving a bridge to the policymaker, and we're bringing all this to the table. Now, why are we doing this? It's also within the Vision 2050, where we're looking at quality over quantity, right? So we're the fastest, growing economy in Europe. Essentially, there's no unemployment on the island, but what we want what we want to attract is the key talent. It's the tech talent, it's the data scientists, etc. So this is why it's quality over quantity. But also, we have to be very sensitive also to the needs of the industry. We're quite a hub for live casinos on the island, for example. And what live casinos bring also is, I always bring this as an example of talent, right? So if you have a live casino presenter speaking different languages, that to an industry is an MBA, right? Because from Malta, they're transmitting globally. They're transmitting to Latin America, they're transmitting to Asia, etc. And that talent is here on the island doing that, essentially. So that's why it's a segmentation exercise, and serving the industry where it needs to be served, and attracting also that kind of talent. Technology is it doesn't need to be openly stated, because it isn't news. It's especially with AI and all this, of how things are going, extremely fast, at a very fast speed, at a very fast pace, I would say. So attracting more of that talent to the island is going to be key. And I always say it's talent, talent, talent. You can have the best fiscal initiatives which you can come up with as a jurisdiction, but ultimately you need to remain, you need to ensure that talent is going to be continuing, being attracted to the island, essentially. So we like to see ourselves, Rob, as home of gaming excellence. We're not a center, we're not a hub, we're a home. And we're a home because we really believe that we want the talent to feel comfortable working on the island, doing business on the island, raising their family on the island, with our schools, with our education, with our health systems. And this is the relentless approach that us as Gaming Malta, we are spearheading all that, because since we spearhead all the strategic efforts and policy across all those gaming sectors on the island. An example, Rob, esports.
Yeah.
So esports, we host, we all started the strategy back in 2019. So we're not talking, kind of years and years ago, really. And, interspersed with COVID in between also, brings us challenges. But what we've learned is from there is even from COVID that, people want to be entertained online. And if you look at the numbers of esports, for example, during COVID, you could see.
Well, yeah, it was exponential growth.
So essentially, we had we hosted the Pro League seasons on the island, which never happened. We never attracted that industry on the island. Today, we have a multi-year agreement with Blast, whereby they've got their esports arena here, whereby tier 1 esports tournaments are being held. And all that also is linked to the iGaming industry, right? Because the iGaming industry is looking into that sector.
Of course, yeah.
Still in early days, we're all still learning of how to adapt to it, and we're still learning of how to run profitable products, around that. Malta serving as a hub, for all this when it comes to that. And ultimately, we want it to be a home also for the esports sectors, for the immersive tech sectors, etc. Actually, during ICE in coming January, we'll be having a Liverpudlian company from Liverpool, Draw and Code, who have invested their R in the operations in Malta, and they're showcasing their immersive tech capabilities and how it could be used for iGaming, essentially. These are just little examples and case studies of the things which are happening on this island when it comes, Rob, on a technology front.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much innovation. The fact that we're small and nimble makes us even more attractive around that.
Of course, yeah.
Because we can change tech also when things aren't, maybe working, or maybe things need to be enhanced and things need to be improved around that.
Fantastic. And I suppose with the manifesto, that's kind of an example of how things can be improved and how things can be enhanced going forward. And one of the things that strikes me about it is it's quite a broad remit that it sets out. I was wondering if you could maybe just kind of elaborate more on how you're going to execute on this strategy, because and this kind of, I suppose, at its core, this ambition for Malta.
Yeah. So essentially, look, so when it comes to the manifesto, Gaming Malta Manifesto, we wanted to put down a list of pledges, essentially, which we're giving as a foundation to the industry, our promises and what we want to do, okay? Which includes ensuring that more talent comes to the island, in growing and nurturing homegrown talent for the industry, in make sure that we support and secure responsible gaming also, and how that all plays part in ensuring that there are the proper banking services. So it's an array. It's basically it's different pillars where we're showcasing, and that's our promises for continuing going forward. But that's why it's a continuous work with the ecosystem. And when we say we're the Silicon Valley for iGaming, because we have a very robust ecosystem. Well enough, it's B2C, it's B2B, it's the consultants, it's the lawyers, it's the due diligence experts and all that. And also because it's good that there is a manifesto, it's very good. It's also very good there are pledges also. But we went actually further than that also, right? So we're spearheading a campaign called Respect, RESPECT, where R stands for responsible gaming, entertainment, speed, professionalism, enhanced due diligence, customer-centric, and talent, essentially, as part of that respect. Why? Because we're the jurisdiction that's the flag bearer for the industry globally, essentially. And we want to tell external stakeholders out there that the iGaming industry deserves to be respected. It deserves to be respected because, as the acronym states, it's all for responsible gaming. It's all for entertainment. It grows at speed. It's got great product. There's enhanced due diligence on the sector. It's customer centric, and ultimately it attracts the right talent. And once again, no other jurisdiction has, to my knowledge, gone out and said, look, we want to be your flag bearer. Essentially, we want to understand the industry, we want to continuously understand this. We want to work with the right operators, with the responsible operators, and we want to, we're happy to see you grow, essentially, and use Malta as a stage for your global ambitions, essentially. So the manifesto, once again, is important. It has all this, but then there is also respect, because we're doing this because we respect the industry, ultimately. So Robin, now you're seeing how it's all interconnecting all together, essentially. Yeah. And we're bringing this to ICE, we're bringing this to Barcelona, showcasing this. Actually, we won't be alone on the stand at ICE. So we'll be having representatives from our visa agency, Identità. We'll be having representatives from our foreign direct investment arm, Malta Enterprise. Bank of Valletta, Malta's largest bank, will be there. So it's the power of one, as a jurisdiction, as a country, how we're bringing all this to the iGaming sector and to the gaming sector in general. Thank you.